Do you think the Nigeria rising the memory or the time, June 12th? Because now, of course, things are, not anything like they were back then. Are we changing up history, or does history actually capture it right? But before we get into that, I'm going to do a little bit of analysis on the president's not speeches, but interviews and some of the answers that he provided in his media outing. There's this really interesting analysis that's done on the Premium Times newspaper for today. And they're saying that Buhari repeated past rhetorics, wrong data in recent interview. I found it interesting, and I'm going to be sharing that with you this morning. So, the Premium Times writes, President Muhammadu Buhari rarely grants media interviews, but when he does, he makes the headlines for several reasons, including gaffes. His interview with Arise Television, aired on Thursday, was not an exception. Despite the ban on Twitter activities in Nigeria, the president trended on the microblogging platform for several hours after that interview was aired across major televisions, indicating that it was one of the most discussed topics of the day. The over 40 minutes interview, which arguably offered more insights than the barrage of statements from his spokespersons, was an appraisal of his 6 years in office, touching on his successes as well as areas of deficiencies, particularly the security and economy sectors. However, the president's answers to questions posed by the four interviewees followed a pattern set in an interview he granted 2 years ago to the same medium. Premium Times analysis has shown. This, they say, leaves anyone who watched the 2019 interview and the recent one wondering if Mr. Buhari is just being consistent with his ideas or rigid to embrace fresh ideas. In the build-up to the 2019 election, the president, who was seeking a second term, spoke with Arise Television for 90 minutes. The majority of the questions centered on security and his agriculture-related projects. But most of the responses, including the analogies he provided, were repeated in the Thursday interview. For instance, at the time, it was said that he blamed the PDP 16-year rule for the decadence of the infrastructure when asked about what his government had done differently in 2019. And they say that he reprised this in the same interview from 4 days ago. Part of that quote, after 16 years of PDP with the resources I've just mentioned, there have been enormous resources at their disposal, and they will use everything at their disposal to discredit the administration. Once people are making trouble for us, I sit down and I wonder, what have they been doing for 16 years? Did you know that the condition of the road from here to Onitsha, from here to Port Harcourt, to mention a few, have been there since Abacha time? This is what he said in 2019. And says something equally similar, according to the Premium Times. Again, look at the state of infrastructure, look at our roads, look at the rail, look at power, and tell me which country develops without infrastructure. This is what he said on Thursday in his interview. Also, he cited some erroneous figures which have been fact-checked to be false by Dubawa, which is Nigeria's foremost fact-checking organization, in 2018. He said this country was getting 2.1 million barrels per day and getting it out of the Nigerian territory with a cost of average $100 per barrel. It went up to 143, but when we came, it collapsed. These were his words in 2019. I would like you to check how much we're earning from 1999 to 2014. From 1999 to 2014, our production, if you check, you'll find out that every production was 2.1 million barrels per day at a cost of $100 per barrel. So from 1999 to 2014, we're earning 2.1 million times $100 per day. This he repeated during his interview with Arise News on Thursday. The president's claim that crude oil was selling at $100 per barrel between 1999 and 2014 is false, as available data show that the figure is an average of $61.7 per barrel, according to Dubawa, which is a fact-checking organization. I mean, this analysis just goes on, and I cannot exhaust it in this, but you can find it on the Premium Times if you intend to check it out for yourself. But we're going to look at some of the president's responses to certain issues, especially the key issues, like how his administration has impacted Nigeria, what he meant when he said we'll treat them in the language they understand. He responded to some of these questions in the two interviews, and we'll be looking at whether after these interviews, you have a better insight as to the position of the president regarding the situation in our country today. I mean, it's one of the very few times when we get to hear directly from the president. Yes? So, does this give you reassurance regarding what the situation is, that things will get better? Are you happier after the president spoke? Or is it the opposite? Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back to continue in just a moment.
What do you need in a safeguard?
Children that like to play.
They like to play.
Small pigs that must jolly. Oh.
They like to jolly.
But remember one thing, protect them with safeguard too. Protect them with safeguard. Protect them with safeguard too. From the teen and yama so the future go better.
Safeguard antibacterial soap. They come out every yama for body. It also they available for 50-gram size.
Uncle Dentist, what can be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Say they use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Now, hole for teeth they cause most tooth pain will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protect, confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. It could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Try Ariel. Now your clothes will be cleaner than they ever be. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, you protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well,
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is that jollof ready?
See? Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
what do you need in a safeguard?
Children that like to play.
They like to play.
Small pigs that must jolly. Oh.
They like to jolly.
But remember one thing, protect them with safeguard too. Protect them with safeguard. Protect them with safeguard too. From the teen and yama so the future go better.
Safeguard antibacterial soap. They come out every yama for body. It also they available for 50-gram size.
Kídé, ara rẹ̀ sì gbóná síbẹ̀. Kí ló dé tí o kò lọ sílé ìwòsàn?
Ilé ìwòsàn kẹ̀. Mo kà lórí Facebook àti WhatsApp pé tí mo bá po.
Ó kí ni? Ooo, ṣé láyé òde òní ló sì ń gba ìmọ̀ràn nípa ìlera lórí Facebook àti WhatsApp? Má fèmí rẹ̀ wéwu o. Má ṣe gba ìmọ̀ràn nípa ìlera lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí ó lè ṣe ìwádìí bí wọ́n ṣe dé lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára. Àmọ̀ràn yìí wá láti ọwọ́ Africa Check.
iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná a máa fúnni ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ a sì máa mú ìdẹ̀rùn wá láti wá dènà ìjàmbá iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná. Ojúlówó wáyà tàbí kébù ló yẹ ká fi fa iná nínú ilé, lọ́fíìsì àti nínú ìlú. Pure wires and cables ní àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ mọ̀nàmọ́ná àti àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe yàn láàyò. Ojúlówó ni, kì í bó lára, kò kì í jóná àbáàdì, kì í kán sínú, ó sì fi ni lọ́kàn balẹ̀. Ìdí nìyí tí Standard Organization of Nigeria fi fòǹtẹ̀tẹ̀ tí Nigeria Electrical Contractors náà fi dìbò fún. Bí copper cable ṣe wà ní aluminium cable ń bẹ nípele lówó tí kò gún pa. Pure wires and cables tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Kaman ló ṣe ojúlówó wires and cable jáde. Olú ilé-iṣẹ́ Pure wires and cables limited wà ní Afrin's compound Fort Gate number 122/132 Oṣòdì Apapa Expressway Ìyànà Ìsọlọ̀ bus stop Lagos. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní 080-803-03257. Pure wires and cables. Ìrọ̀rùn fi iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná.
Wetin you need na safeguard.
Children that like to dey play.
Them like to dey play.
Small pigs that must jolly.
Them like to dey jolly.
But remember one thing, protect them with safeguard soap. Protect them with safeguard. Protect them with safeguard soap. From the tea and yama so the future go better.
Safeguard antibacterial soap dey comot every yamayama for body. E also dey available for 50-gram size.
Orúkọ mi ni Àbíkẹ́. Gbogbo ìgbà ni mo máa ń lóyún kí ọmọ ọwọ́ mi ó tó pé oṣù mẹ́fà. Kò rọrùn fún mi rárá o. Mo wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yẹra fọ́kọ mi. Èyí wá fa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìjà láàrin wa. Wọ́n máa ń pa ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí o. Àwọn kan náà pàdé ọkọ mi ládùúgbò wa. Wọ́n wá ṣàlàyé fún wọn nípa rẹ̀. Kódà àwọn tún fún ọkọ mi ní ìwé pélébé kan. Ìpè kí wọ́n mú lọ ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba tí ń bẹ ládùúgbò wa. Ọkọ mi sì ṣàlàyé fún mi. A yan ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí aládàálò ti DMPASC látìgbà tí mo sì ti ń lò. Kò dà mí láàmú rárá. Àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí kọ́ mi bí ń ṣe mọ gúnra mi ní abẹ́rẹ́ aládàálò ti DMPASC. Mo sì rí wípé ó rọrùn láti gún nítorí pé abẹ́rẹ́ ọ̀hún gan ó kéré gan ni. Inú mi dùn, ọkàn mi sì balẹ̀ pẹ̀lú abẹ́rẹ́ ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí aládàálò DMPASC tí mò ń lò yìí. Ó ti ran èmi àtọkọ mi lọ́wọ́ láti dènà oyún àìròtẹ́lẹ̀ kí wọ́n sì yẹra fọ́kọ mi mọ́.
Inú Àbíkẹ́ ń dùn nítorí ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí aládàálò DMPASC tí ó yàn láàyò. Lọ sí ilé ìwòsàn tó súnmọ́ ọ láti lọ rí akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ elétò ìlera fún ìlànà ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí tó wù ọ́. Ìkéde yìí wá láti ilé-iṣẹ́ ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti àjọ tó ń mójútó ìlera alábọ́dé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ìfètòsọ́mọ bíbí ìgbàlódé kò léwu ó sì fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀.
Try Ariel. Now your clothes will be cleaner than they've ever been. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, yeah, protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well,
Here, Papa Obi. Now wetin dey shake you again like leaf? Chai! Sweater and handkerchief never comot from your hand since I marry you.
Na cold and kata again o.
I don tell you say make you take Procold, but e dey form of big man.
Why Procold, my dear?
Make you no waka miss road o. Procold get paracetamol and phenylephrine for effective relief from cold and catarrh within 20 minutes.
Mama Obi, I dey kampe now.
Na Orange Drugs Limited distribute am. If symptoms never stop after 3 days, make you waka go see your doctor. Procold na better medicine.
take Procold. Take Procold. Procold. Take Procold. It is right. Now better winner. Small drop of money fresh gon' make your plate cleaner. Yama. Don't remain. With small drop of money fresh was 50% more. And your plate is shine. It is fresh for Naija. Small drop of money fresh was
People wey sabi know say Morning Fresh dey finish work 50% better pass others. Make you sef join people wey sabi begin use Morning Fresh.
Nowadays, I keep saying "aww" a whole lot because everyone would stop surprising me. My hubby does the dishes and prepare the kids for school before I wake. Aww. Even when my daughter makes me a cup of tea with 3 Crowns milk.
Mom, we've got you now and always with the low cholesterol goodness your heart needs to keep the rhythm of the family going. 3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Chai blessing. Your Bobo don't dash you gift again.
He bought me the new Itel P37 smartphone, and right there, I got a free gift and 3,000 naira airtime.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The Itel Mega Sales promo is on. Buy the new Itel P37 and stand a chance to win a package of Itel family products like Itel TV, Itel laptops, and many more. Promo runs from now till the 30th of June. Terms and conditions apply. Itel, enjoy better life.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey e dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate.
Because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
This is a message for farmers and agro-processors. If you need to dry your agricultural produce like rice, cassava chips, plantain chips, melon, and others, you do not need to spread them to dry on tarred roads or on rocks. The Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute, NISPRI, has developed a solar dryer with which you can dry these agricultural commodities faster, better, and more hygienically. For more information, visit www.nspri.gov.ng or any of our offices across the country. NISPRI, improving food storage for a happier nation.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You're listening to Splash 105.5 FM. It's 8:24 on a Monday morning here in Ibadan. Glad to have you join us this morning, as always. Today on the show, we've been taking a look at the president's media outing and what he said in all of those outings, from the interviews until the speech. And if that has given insight to you, and if you are assured as to the solutions that we probably will be seeing in the next couple of months or weeks regarding some of our big issues at the moment. And of course, you know, at the center of that is insecurity. So I'm going to, it's certain now that I can't have my guest anymore. He's been unreachable all morning. So you're going to have to weigh in and fill the vacuum. I'll be opening up phone lines at some point to have your take on this. But before we get there, let's take a look at some of the major points and the responses of the president to some issues. I'd like to start with the interview that he had on Thursday with Arise Television and what he had to say concerning certain issues. When he was asked about border closure and corruption, the president says, we're impressed with Nigerians who went back to the farm. We made sure our neighbors, especially Niger Republic, understand it. The Niger government cooperated with us. Fighting corruption is very difficult under this system and even under the military system. But in this system, doing things with immediate effect is not possible because of those who have the money and can hire first-class lawyers, and cases may take 10 years. I assure you, despite the problem with the system, if we have correct intelligence that someone is not accountable, we ease them out. Those in top positions in my government know this. That's the president's response to a question on border closure and corruption. On the death of Shakal and security in the northeast, he says, Governor Zulum of Borno told me Boko Haram are Nigerians. You can't kill innocent people and say God is great. We have problem of unemployment. The level of poverty is almost unimaginable. Those who are really keeping in touch with what we're doing know the difference between when we came in and now. The people in the northeast and south can tell you the difference. On banditry, the president had this to say. We have changed service chiefs who were also part of the system during previous tenures and tasked them to go around the country and make changes when necessary. We can't divulge what we're doing so as not to make the bandits aware of our strategy. The important thing is local security operations. We have police in every town and I've been pushing them to sustain their work. Bandits are experiencing heavy casualties. These were the president's response concerning questions around banditry. Moving on, the president had this to say concerning state police. I have told governors who come to me to complain about herders and farmer crisis to go back to the old system where traditional rulers, police, traders and elders meet regularly to discuss security situation in their localities and solve them. And if it is above them, they pass it on. Governors cannot go round and win elections and then sit tight and wait for somebody to do their jobs for them. It gets interesting because on the issue of open grazing, and this point has been popularized in the last couple of days, the president says, what I did was ask governors to go and dig the Gazette of the First Republic. There are cattle routes and grazing areas. If you allow your cattle to stray into any farm, you are arrested. The problem is trying to understand the culture of the cattle rearers. The Nigerian cattle rearer has nothing else I'm sure that's supposed to be apart from machetes and sticks to cut trees for cattle. Fulani herders from outside Nigeria who look the same as Nigerians move to Nigeria and they look like they are from Nigeria, and some of them carry AK-47. Okay, that's on open grazing, yeah? On devolution of power, the president says the problem is the local government has been virtually killed because those who became local government chairmen have been compromised. If your local government is entitled to 300 million naira, a letter will be prepared for you to sign that you've received 300 million and you'll be given 100 million. Excuse me. All right, moving on this crisis in the southeast and the security situation in that region, the president says, and I quote, IPOB is like a dot in a circle. If they want to exist, they'll have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having business and property, I think IPOB doesn't know what they are talking about. Anyway, we've said we'll talk to them in the language they understand. We'll organize the police and military to pursue them. That's what we can do, and we will do it. All right, moving on corruption and members of other parties joining the APC. The president says because one or two governors joined the APC, what this administration can do is make sure APC lasts beyond this administration. That's why the party is doing registration at all levels. However, you're being very unfair to us when you say joining APC makes all your alleged corrupt practices go away. On party rotation or rotation of power within the APC, he says, let's allow the party to decide. We started from bottom up. Party committee has from now till the end of this month to come up with strategy for general elections. Those who want to be president, they better join the APC. Interesting. And just before I leave this interview, let's take his comments on infrastructure to Niger Republic. He says, how many neighbors do we have? You have to cultivate your relationship with your neighbors. If you don't, you are in trouble. Nigerians have first cousins and relatives in Nigeria. Maybe he meant Niger and the Benin Republic. Niger has discovered oil. We want them to transport their products through Nigeria instead of Benin by building rail. That's the Maradi line and good roads. Okay. So these are some points from his Thursday interview. He had another interview on Friday with the NTA, and I'll just quickly run through some of the points. He was asked a question about how his administration has impacted Nigeria so far, and the president says he wants Nigeria to be fair to this administration. Quote, they should reflect seriously at the time we came, especially relative to Northeast and South-South, where we are now. How much were we producing over the previous administration before we came? Was producing 2.1 million barrels a day, average at the price cost of $100 per barrel. When we came, somehow the militants in the South were unleashed on this administration, and production went down to 500,000 barrels a day. Again, the oil market collapsed. So I would like Nigerians to reflect on those in terms of resources and time, and I believe we haven't done very badly. Now, when asked about his riot act and what he meant by "I will treat them in the language they understand" on that Friday interview, the president says, and I quote, "How can you go to a police station, kill the police if they're there, loot the armory and burn the place? What do you want to achieve? Go and open the prison and allow criminals that have been tried through the legal system and let them loose on the society? And how can government sit aside and allow that confusion to be perpetrated? All they need is confusion, and no government can allow confusion. Look at the NSAS incident in Lagos. The previous governor of Lagos State bought 200 buses to complement the transportation in Lagos, and he built a complex involving railways, but they went and burnt them. The present governor made an album and came to see me. I said, thank you very much. I took the album and put it in my archive and legislation to work because we don't have the money after an administration bought over 200 buses, some people to come and burn it. So let them walk. I hope to arrest them, try them, and give them bad publicity, and then jail them so people will know that if they misbehave, they won't get away with him." On Nigerians accusing him of playing double standards, the president says they are being unfair. They should go and ask the governors of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and ask how we've been deploying the police and military to deal with the bandits. We're not sparing anybody. Nigeria is vast and there are lots of forests. We're doing a lot. The problem is if you order helicopters, you order fighter aircraft, you order tanks, it takes time. I'm going to leave it there and then move to the termination of his tenure. He says, I hate fraud in any form. If I haven't made this statement, I make it absolutely clear, and I have sworn to uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution said you can't do more than 2 terms. I have shown I had the first time, and before that first time, I went to the 774 local government. In the second term, I went to every state in 2019. I made the remarkable observation. The amount of people that came to see me in every state across the country were more than anyone can buy or force. I am very pleased that Nigerians deliberately made an attempt to understand me, and that I will stand by my oath of office. I will serve this country honestly and diligently, end of quotes. I'm going to have to leave it there so we can have time for your comments. But one thing that struck me from the president's speech on Democracy Day, some of the achievements that he listed. Now, for those who follow, you already know that the president made a promise to lift 100 million people from poverty in 10 years. And he says that at least in the last 2 years only, 10.5 million Nigerians have been lifted out of poverty. And he goes on to list some other achievements of his administration, of course. I'm sure you heard the speech or you have read it at the very least. The question I'm putting to you is, do you feel reassured? This is one of the few times we hear the president speak, and he spoke 3 times in 3 days, back to back, all of them packed with information. Are you reassured? Do you have better insight as to the way the president feels about some of these national issues like insecurity, open grazing, the level of poverty that we're having in the country? And do you feel reassured at this time, based on the comments of the president, that things are going to be handled and they will be handled soon? Let's talk about this, shall we? 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and you can also call 070-6949-3000. What are your thoughts concerning the present positions on some of these issues as listed, especially the biting national issues and some of the most controversial issues we've seen in the past couple of days. Are you convinced? Do you feel reassured? And are you hopeful? The phone lines are open. You can send text messages or put a call through to those numbers at this time, as we have about less than 10 minutes to go on the program. Hopefully we get some of your comments and then we wrap up this morning on this. The president's speech was very incisive, if I might say so myself. As I said, he listed some achievements of his administration, and these include even infrastructure, and that's one area that the president has been applauded. Good morning.
Good morning, Chacha.
Good morning, Barrister. Nice to have you back. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very impressed by the summary you gave of the interview. It's very, very useful and beneficial. Kudos for that. You see, truth is heavy. That's why few can carry it. That's one philosopher said. Truth is heavy. That's why few people can carry it. The only way forward, the only way to move progress in human civilization is to tell the truth. Jesus Christ said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." It's only the truth that can advance a nation. No matter how bitter it is, we say it. The great northern leader, Sir Ahmadu Bello, one of the things I'm impressed about him is his ability to say the truth. He said it blunt, whether I like it or not. The same thing the late said. When Zik was telling Ahmadu Bello that let us forget our differences, Zik was being diplomatic. Ahmadu Bello said, no. There's no question of forgetting our differences. Let us understand and respect our differences. You see, the present president is a man who rapidly lost the North, and the North lost him back. And his route to power is the philosophy of the North first, the North above every other person. Buhari never contested the presidential election of 2003 because he had wanted to stop corruption or advance Nigeria in economics and education. No. The only reason Buhari contested was to return political power to the North, ultimate political power to them, and re-establish the Northern hegemony. Don't let us pretend. That is the situation. Now, and that is the agenda he has been running.
But Barrister, that's not the question I asked. The question was quite specific. Given what the president has said in his media appearances of late, are you reassured?
That's what I want to address now.
Okay.
You see, like I said, the good thing about those interviews that I saw a president who was calm, subdued, sober. That's the good thing about it. But if you believe anything Buhari said in 2021 at this time, that person will believe anything. If you believe anything Buhari said, that means you believe anything. Buhari has never been sincere and honest with Nigeria as a country, but has been sincere and honest in the dealings and relations and everything that touches his own ethnic group. That's the only time you find it sincere. And I've said it before on this platform that if you take 100 Yoruba, we have 10 critical questions about the Nigerian nation, 90% of them will be truth. If you ask the Yoruba intellectual, for example, who owns the oil and gas resources of the Niger Delta, oil and gas, he will tell you it belongs to the Niger Delta people. If you don't discover, if you take 100 northern intellectuals and you bring them the interview, they will not answer more than 50% of the question honestly. They understand the question, they will be talking about another thing. That's exactly what the president did in this interview. He asks his specific question. He will be answered, but he will pretend he doesn't understand the question, but give a different answer to the question. That's their modus operandi.
Okay. Barrister, thank you. Thank you very much. You don't seem to be much of a fan of the president. I think your response gave that much away. Thank you. Thank you nonetheless for your comments this morning. Totally appreciate that you would call to put that out there. I guess the president was referring to people like you when he said that we're not being fair to him when we're accusing him of double standards, treating the North a certain way and then the other parts of the country a certain other way. But I guess he wasn't convincing enough, seeing as you still hold the views that you do. But totally appreciate it anyway. Thanks for being a part of the show. 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, 070 6949 3,000. Let me know, were you reassured by the stance and the responses the president gave in his recent media outings, where he answered questions regarding major security issues and national issues and gave his own standpoint? I mean, one thing that I found very interesting was his clarification of we will treat them in the language they understand statements.
Hello?
Please lower the volume on your radio. Have you lowered the volume on your radio?
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Hello.
great. Go ahead then.
About the issue of the President Muhammad Buhari.
Can we have your name? Let's have your name.
My name is Bashir.
All right, Bashir. Nice to have you here. Please proceed.
Yes, I said the issue of the politician among among the House of Assembly, their interest of their even self, they are not under interest of our own.
Bashir, the question is, are you reassured by what the president said in his interviews and his speech? Do you think Nigeria is headed the right way?
Yes, Mama. Nigeria is on the right way.
Okay, Bashir, that's what we're trying to get. Thank you very much. You were saying stuff about the National Assembly and it didn't quite align, but thank you for your thoughts this morning. Hello. Seems like that didn't quite work out. All right, we're almost out of time. It seems like not a much conversation we're having this morning concerning this, but we'll wrap up with this one phone call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Please lower the volume on your radio. You're welcome. Lower your volume.
Is it all right now?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Let me ask you this question.
Can we have your name, sir?
I'm Sola from Iwood.
Great. Go ahead.
The president said he has lifted more than 10 million people out of poverty.
Yeah.
Then I ask you, if a Congo of rice in 2015 was about 250 and is now about 1,200 naira, how do you now lift those people from poverty? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. I'm not the government spokesperson. I can't even attempt to answer the question, but thank you for asking anyway. Good morning. I agree with some of the views of the president, but I disagree with him on the open grazing. Open grazing is outdated, but at least his speech rubbishes the rumors Kanu IPOB have been spreading. Well, all hope is not lost. We hope for the best. That's Charles from Iano Church. Thank you very much, Charles. And that's it on our program this morning. Apologies again for the inability to bring my guest and his insights on the show this morning. Hopefully next time around it will be better. My name is Charity Jerome. Enjoy your public holiday. Keep it locked on Splash 105.5.
One shot power for your side, it gon' knock you down. I'm a damn salt gel. Me I can tell you no say, malaria my lesson when no get bad taste or bitter taste from mouth. And it easy to swallow. Try. I got red game changer. I'm a damn salt gel.
I'm a damn soft gel. Now to treat malaria. If body not well after 3 days, see a doctor.
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is the jollof ready?
See?
Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof